Hey everybody, it's Fox with Foxeo Plays. I also have my FoxeoGames channel, link in the description. Check it out if you haven't already. It's where I do my reviews and main content. This is my Let's Play channel, and welcome to my Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin playthrough. I have never fully played through this. I only played enough to where I felt like I could give it a decent enough review, basically as almost kind of DLC. I know it's technically a reworking of the game, but it's certainly not a brand new game by any stretch. Well guys, this is the day after my Return to Lordran finale episode was filmed, and we're going to turn off camera auto adjust, cinematic effects, we're going to leave those on. Jump is going to be the B button, don't like pushing down. I don't want voice chat or cross region play, yes that's fine. And we'll turn up some of the sound effects and leave the music where it is. That looks good to me. Hopefully everything's saved. I accidentally backed out. Yes, it did. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about the game. I certainly was disappointed by the time I did spend with it last time I played. I was disappointed with a lot of things about Dark Souls 2. But I think now, having let a lot of time pass and having gotten used to how it plays and how it feels, it may not be so bad. And actually, you know, if you guys don't mind, you're going to see me Alt-Tab real quick, and I'm going to turn the system volume down because it is coming through just a bit loud on my end. Okay, you're going to hear a little Windows sound there. Okay. This is, of course, on the PC. This is the PC version of Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. We're not going to disturb these bones. We are already getting lost. Hang on, there we go. Getting lost in things betwixt. Alright. We're going to head forward and set up our character. We're going to avoid most, if not all, cutscenes. We're going to skip them. Just because there's no reason for it. And then we're going to name this character Fox. How about that? Does that sound clever enough? Are you sure of your name? I'm pretty sure. I've been using it for a while now. It was given to me at birth, let's just say that. Class. We're gonna play as a deprived... No, I'm kidding. Why would you do that? Why would you ever do that? Never quite sure how to start out here. None of these are particularly great. None of them have a decent shield. The warrior has a shield, but it's not the best. What we might do is... how about... We usually start out with the knight. Let's try the warrior. And for a gift, none of these seem particularly great. So... I might just do the healing wares. And I actually don't care what the character looks like. Doesn't matter to me. We're going to be covered in armor the vast majority of the time. Anyway. Interesting that they start you off in the game with a broken weapon. You can break some stuff in here as well. Oh, I'm remembering how different the combat feels. Definitely different. For some reason I get the feeling like she'll give us something if we talk to her enough. I don't know why. That's just the feeling I get. Let's exhaust these dialogue options here real quick. Okay, nothing. That's what I thought. Up here, I believe, is a chest. Alright, now I'm not actually going to know where everything is in here because it's Scholar of the First Sin and they've changed things up quite a bit, obviously. So, there may be some secrets, some items, you know, obviously there will be some changed up locations in terms of what I find where. Today's drink of choice, oh that's hot, is hot green tea matcha, the matcha green tea. If you hear a banging or yelling, that's my son trying to get into the room. He hears me in there, or in here rather, and is trying to get in. Alright. There we go. What do we got here? Soul of a Lost Undead. By the way, I was playing a little bit of Neo, so some of the controls are very different. Like the dodge on Neo is reversed from the Souls games. So if I start messing up dodging or something for a little bit, that'll be why, because things are reversed. I'm also just not at all comfortable. You know, I should not have turned the volume up. That was my bad. I'm not at all comfortable with the controls in this game, and far less so the parrying. Yep, see, I tried to parry him right there. I really did, I promise you. I tried again. There we go. Really don't like how they go through that, you know, slow motion. Oh, this game is still really loud on my end. I don't know what the deal is here. Let's turn everything down. Okay, there we go. My son's still knocking on the door. I hope it doesn't come through too loudly on the microphone. Well, there he is. Hey, buddy. Did you come to say hi? Say hi. Well, he's waving. You guys can't see it, but he's waving. Can you say some words? What's the monkey say? Oh, yeah. How about the duck? What's a duck say? Quack. That's right. All right, buddy. You ready? All right. Here, we're gonna have a guest for a little bit. Here we go. And I'm gonna try not to lose my headphones in the process here. Okay. So like I was saying, I'm not very good at the parries. I can do them on some of the enemies. It just depends. I gotta practice a lot because the timing was way off compared to what I'm used to from the other games. In particular, Demon Souls and Dark Souls. But it's good to practice on these guys because they just try to hit you with their bare hands and they're not very good at it. This guy is set up for a backstab. And backstabs in this game are also kind of funky the way they work. I mean, you just sort of, you hit them in the back and then you just slash at them several times, or depending on what weapon you have. So that multi-hit backstab doesn't really feel like a backstab. Yeah, it's just, it's weird. The whole game is weird in my opinion. A lot of what happens in the game is awkward, strange. We do definitely want to get a different weapon as early as possible here, because this broken sword isn't going to cut it for very long. Let's see what we got in here. I think we did pick up a dagger, but the dagger is actually significantly... Oh, no, buddy. We don't want to touch the microphone. The dagger is actually significantly weaker than this at the moment, with our scaling the way it is. So we're just going to push through this with this broken sword. See, in Dark Souls, you start with a broken sword, not as a joke, but just kind of to emphasize the benefit of going from that to your actual class weapon, which you pick up in the level. And in Dark Souls 2, well, this class actually starts with, and that is their class weapon, a broken sword. Life gems. Okay, you know what? This little guy's constantly going for everything here. He's trying to grab the mouse. He's gonna throw me off. If I die anywhere, I'm gonna blame it on my son and say that he hit some buttons, even if he didn't. You guys won't know. So this whole area, you can skip most of it, but it is oh, you know what? I should have jumped down there. Actually, hang on. Let's do that. Let's do that while I'm thinking about it. To get this item here, you can skip pretty much all of it, nearly all of it, but you know, there's a benefit to going through it. You pick up some items. You get some... That's right, buddy. And you also get the benefit of some of the training, you know, just kind of experiencing the early part of the game. Now this is new. A statue blocks your way. Oh. That actually was his fault. He bumped the controller and sent me off the edge. Alright, we're going to go ahead and let him go for now. And then we're going to actually pick it up with just me playing. That way I won't hopefully have that happen again. Alright guys, thanks for bearing with me. I also can't drink that hot matcha drink while he's on my lap. Here we go. Oh, that is still warm. Wouldn't want to risk spilling it. Good news is we can skip all that early area right there and just go straight forward. Oh, actually I wanted to go that way, so hey, there's the benefit of dying. Let's pick this up. Other than that, we didn't really lose anything. Yeah, I didn't know that statue actually blocks the way. I think last time I played through the Scholar of the First Sin, I just ran right past this area. I just made the assumption that the tutorial area would be identical, or at least mostly identical. If anything was identical, I'd assume it'd be the tutorial. Yep, gotta say, combat in this game, movement, attacks, everything just feels a little off compared to the other games in the series. To me, oh wow, I was right on the edge there. To me, even Dark Souls 3 feels a little wonky, but not nearly so bad as Dark Souls 2. Bloodborne feels fine. It is kind of different too. But I think the biggest mistake they made actually with Dark Souls 3 was I think they kind of based it off of Bloodborne rather than the actual Souls games. And I do believe that hurt it because the game just operates a little too quickly, and it's a little too frenetic and crazy, and it feels less like a Souls game and more like Bloodborne, which, in my opinion, is not how it should feel. I also noticed in this game that you seem to lose stamina a lot faster. Don't know if it's actually the case, but it feels that way. Oh, there we go. We got a door open. Isn't there an enemy in here? I always think there's an enemy in here. Maybe there was originally. Maybe there was originally. For those that don't know, matcha, the drink of today, is powdered green tea, so you get more of the green tea itself. Much better than just steeping a tea bag in water. You actually get the powdered green tea in the water, and you're consuming it directly. I think, is it this way? This way to Majula. I should purposely mispronounce stuff just to throw people off. Majula. You know, I should do a playthrough where I warned all of you that are my regular subscribers that I'm going to mispronounce everything on purpose, and then not say anything about the mispronunciation until the final episode. And just kind of see what people say in the comment section. And on our way to Majula. Alright. As we play Dark Souls 2. Oh yeah, we already came this way. That's right. I'm crazy. Let's just get out of here. This tutorial area is not the most exciting in my opinion. It's not terrible by any means, but certainly I think Demon Souls is more exciting and Dark Souls is better. I will say this though, this area is probably on par, if not better than Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 also has kind of a lackluster tutorial area. And we call it that. I mean, technically it's just the beginning area, the intro area. But it is, in many ways, it does at least seem to be designed to get you familiar with. What is this? That would be crazy if they had an illusory wall so close. Yeah, the original game, I don't know about this version of it, but the original Dark Souls 2, if I remember correctly, it went a long time before you ever saw an illusory wall. The lighting in this game, though, gotta say, is much better than Dark Souls. Much better. Even with the mod installed. Just looking around to make sure I'm... Oh, there it is. I knew there was an item around here somewhere. A divine blessing. I've mentioned this before in many of my playthroughs, but I typically hang on to these blessings, divine blessings, thinking that, you know, they may be important later, and then I never end up using them, and I finish the game with all of them in my inventory. So let's make it a point to see if maybe I can actually make use of one of my divine blessings, at least one, if not more. Alright, so I think this guy's got a ring for us, which has a benefit in addition to the covenant. I make green tea a regular part of my day now. I have a couple different drinks that I consume. One is matcha green tea. The other is a black tea brewed with Ceylon cinnamon and honey, natural raw honey. Oh, this guy is not going to give it to me, is he? Oh, there we go. So that's like a honey cinnamon black tea. Then another one I do is a couple apple cider drinks. Apple cider vinegar, that is. Yeah, big difference between apple cider and apple cider vinegar. These are two very different things. If you were to confuse the two, you would be very disappointed which one you got. Alright. I gotta say that, unfortunately, the water here always looked weak to me. It looked like the waves were supposed to be big, but they just moved, you know, regardless of, I mean, they didn't seem to crash up against the shore very good. Like, look at that. It just sort of fades under the rock. Like, this would have been a great place to have it crash up on the shore and just feel like an intense kind of cliff, you know, seaside cliff. I'm sure they didn't do that for processing power reasons on the consoles. So when people tell you that consoles are holding back PC gaming, well, that is true, but more so than that, consoles are holding back gaming as a whole. Game developers are constantly struggling to find a way to fit their vision into the limited power of the game consoles. So yeah, it does hold them back in many ways, and sometimes more than just you know, processing power. There was a time when space was an issue, like actual physical space, the amount of data that you could work with, like, you know, megabytes on a cartridge. That's not as big of a concern now, especially with Blu-ray discs and things of the sort, digital downloads with hard drives. But it certainly was a big issue during, like, say, the Super Nintendo days and all that. Like, they would actually try to find ways to expand the memory on a cartridge and then brag about it. Okay, 24 megabits. Estes Flash Shard. It's kind of cool that, like, right off the bat, there's an extremely useful item hidden right there. Like, very useful. So for those that end up finding it, they will make the game significantly easier. Oh no, I got the attention of those little pigs. Those things are frustrating early on. Let's go talk to the Emerald Herald. To this day, Dark Souls still remains the only truly convenient Souls when it comes to leveling up and taking care of all that stuff. You can do it at any bonfire. Every other game in the series pretty much requires that you go back to a hub. What'd I just do? Oh, okay. We want to upgrade the Estus Flask. It's nice that they don't charge you for it. It's free. We need seriously, we need 201 souls. So we're gonna have to use 2 of these, aren't we? Just for that one. Oh no, that's an 800. Never mind. Actually, let's hang on to those. Let's hang on to those in case there's something we need to pick up or buy. I haven't made any choices as to exactly what I want to do with this build, but I do know that I typically... these things are not going to go away, are they? Can I hit the bonfire? Yes, okay. There we go. With, you know, with the build, in terms of leveling, gear, armor, weapons, shields, I don't know. I may just go with the longsword. It's simple, it's effective, it's powerful. I know how to use it. I've used it before. So it may just be the best route to take. And that may be exactly what we do. Alright. You know what? I don't even know if there is a Sublime Bone Dust down here. There is in the regular game, but I don't know in this version of the game if it's there or not. But we'll go try it out. It would save a lot of time if I just looked it up real quick, but we'll go try it. Couldn't hurt too bad. Unless I die over and over again. Let's see if they changed what's in here. I remember, what was it? A cracked shield or something? Cracked round shield? Or Crimson Parma, that was it. Okay, so the shield we have now is 85% physical. That's slightly better on magic only. Okay, we'll keep what we've got. Seems like the best choice for now. Although I really want a better weapon. The blacksmith, I believe, sells a longsword, but he's not available at the moment. We have to get him the key so he can get inside. And I don't quite remember where the key is. I think we usually stumble upon it one way or another. Although they could have moved it. I don't remember. When I did play through the game for just the purposes of a review, I do remember unlocking that blacksmith, but I don't remember if it was the same process and same location and everything. Aha! We are able to reset it. Okay. Let's see what we can do to these guys with a broken sword. Yeah, it's gonna take a while. We can do it though. Oh, I forgot about that adaptability thing in dodge. The invincibility frames are different. We're gonna have to remember that. Right now, what's really affecting me is the super short range on this thing. This guy takes one step and he gets out of range. This is not one that I had to kill, but we got rid of him just because I don't want him following me up here. This is the one that usually has the Sublime Bone Dust. Although I believe they changed it so he no longer has it. If I remember correctly. Oh, shoot. Did someone just shoot an arrow at me? Because if so, oh shoot. I definitely don't need to be shot with an arrow right now. Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Oh no. Yep. Oh. I thought he was going to do a slam attack. And I miscalculated that one too. Oh shoot. We're getting close to dying here. One. Two, there we go. Oh shoot. Oh crap. Those rolls. There we go. Pretty sure he doesn't have it actually. Yeah, we wasted our time. Darn it. That's alright, we'll figure it out as we go. We'll have to figure a lot of this out as we go, I suppose. Although we could level off some of this. Right, am I right? Well, that wasn't worth risking my life for. This guy's particularly difficult to fight only because you might roll off the edge. I'm pretty sure I hit the roll button. That's another thing. I'm remembering many of the reasons this game frustrates me. It just seems like sometimes it becomes unresponsive. Like I hit the roll button and it's like my character just ignores it. I gave the correct inputs, the character failed to act. I cannot be responsible for my character's failure to act. And look how quickly he rubber bands back. I mean, I was still right on top of him attacking him. And he's within relatively close distance to his original patrol point, or whatever you call it. Oh crap. Oh, that was a close one. I don't think I actually managed to dodge that. I think I just avoided being hit because I was, there was a difference of elevation. That saved me right there. Oh yeah, see right there. Now, I believe that would have been a good dodge if I had all my adaptability. If I had the normal amount of iframes. That probably would have been a successful dodge. Oh, look at that. I almost forgot about these switches. Alright. Look at that. I do really like that mechanic right there. The idea of it, you know, expanding the battle arena for the boss. That you can make a mad dash for the boss, but the boss will be harder to fight. Or you can just take your time, fight all the enemies through here, expand the battle arena, and make the boss easier. Interesting to note, if you look in the upper left corner, you can see the statistics for how my system is handling the game. Running at a consistent 60 FPS. And CPU is incredibly low on the usage. I mean, it's frequently dropping into the single digits. Rarely seems to go above 15% of my CPU. GPU, it's 2 digits, but typically somewhere between like 12 to 20 some percent. So obviously this is not a very demanding game for my current system. If you're ever wondering what my current computer specs are, it's always available in the description of the video. Am I not able to head back? Hang on now. Am I missing where this lever is? This switch? This pulley? Oh, there it is. Yeah, this game also has some weird physics when you're jumping. Like, you can start to like float across stuff if the way you jump doesn't quite land properly on ground. So you can do some weird stuff with jumps if you know how to wig it out, make the system mess up. By the way, I'll be simultaneously playing episodes of Bloodborne while I do this, because I just know for a fact that Dark Souls 2 doesn't usually hold my interest all that much. I oftentimes get kind of frustrated at it. And I end up just getting discouraged. So I figured to break up the monotony of Dark Souls 2, or to put some space between me and any frustrations I experience with the game, I'll play episodes of another game. So I want to alternate between Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne. So the goal right now is to have alternating episodes. So this will be episode 1 of my Dark Souls 2 playthrough. The next upload to this channel, the Foxeo Plays channel, will be episode 1 of my Bloodborne playthrough. Oh yeah, can't level up at a bonfire. It's also kind of annoying that you got to push through all, you know, kind of a bunch of dialogue there. Seems unnecessary, but, you know, it is what it is. What are you gonna do? And then, let's actually, we can, I think we can level again here. Yeah, let's try that. Adaptability early on is usually the most useful in my opinion, because it gives us our invincibility frames during our rolls. Although, I think I need to take it, adaptability to 16 is standing out in my memory for some reason. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. I'm gonna look it up. I gotta remember kind of all the little things about this game. I don't think you need to talk to him right now for any reason, but yeah, there we go. Also, people have pointed out that he's locked out of his shop here, but there's two like really big window openings here at chest height that he could easily crawl into. And then, of course, you know, a large portion of the building is open. So that seems kind of silly that he feels like totally hopelessly locked out when you could easily just crawl right in there. Alright. Well, we can kind of get started with the game proper here. Go to the first area. See what we find. I don't know if they've changed up how you're supposed to play, like the intended order of things, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, not that way. There we go. Okay, I'm remembering now. Sort of. One thing I don't understand is why they felt the need to have these doors that slowly opened and force you to wait, and then after you go through them, they close. Well, they even close before you go through them if you're not fast enough. The only thing I could think of is that it forces the player to slow down, giving the game time to load the area. Obviously, again, would be a concession made for the consoles. Certainly not necessary at all on the PC. Oh crap, I for some reason thought that was solid ground. Okay, death 2 already. We are at 2 deaths and we're We're only in the first episode. That's nice. Oh, yeah, we were here. Oh, you know what? I ran all the way back thinking I didn't want to waste a homeward bone, forgetting that you don't have to use homeward bones in this game. You can warp from bonfire to bonfire. Homeward bone is only if you need to get to a bonfire. So I was next to a bonfire and chose to run all the way back. Interesting. I was in Dark Souls mode. Obviously Dark Souls 3 is similar. Bloodborne and Demon Souls are also similar in that there's basically a hub area that connects to everything else. You can't warp from any, you know, bonfire or lamppost or whatever they call them, archstone. You can't warp from anyone to anyone, but you warp from there to the hub, and then from the hub area to any that you've unlocked. So, interesting to note, not a lot of people mention this, but people compare Bloodborne all the time to Dark Souls. Oh, it's like Dark Souls, it's like Dark Souls, it's kind of like Dark Souls. Well, really? Bloodborne is more like Demon Souls in many ways. If you think about it. Especially in terms of how the lamp posts work, because the lamp posts in Bloodborne work almost identically to the archstones in Demon Souls. Is there an item? Yeah, I think there's an item up in here. There's an item up in here, people. There it is. Homeward Bone and Soul of a Lost... Oh, I didn't know there was a guy there. 4 hits, 4 two-handed hits to kill him. That's too many. We need to reduce that to preferably 2 to 3. Putting that big ogre there seems excessive. Oh, you know what? I just realized I didn't go through things betwixt and get all the items in there. We'll go back later. We've already started our adventure here. I think something's going to come up from behind and get me, isn't it? It's always disappointing when a backstab doesn't kill something outright. You really feel like a backstab should be a one-shot, you know, for that satisfying just one shot. And I mean one shot in both senses of the term. One shot is in one hit to the enemy. Your character only performs a single hit. And that single hit kills the enemy. What's this? Just a rock? Wow. Looks like a tombstone. We're not going to rest there. All we'll do is respawn the enemies. Okay, there should be a guy shooting at us. There he is. And then this guy right here. Oh crap. I forgot about that guy right there. And that guy. Jeez. They're just ganging up on me. Unfair. Okay, I see how this is. I see how things are now. Oh, man. The time it takes to recover from just a simple swing. Let me switch it up to my shield here and see if it swings faster. Yeah. Oh, crap. And that roll was delayed. I actually hit the roll button, I would say about a half second before the roll actually happened. But that's because I was in the middle of an animation and it still queued it up. I've got a major issue with these games with queued up attacks. Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls, the first game, had a major problem with that. If you were holding your shield up and hitting a bunch of buttons, when you would release your shield, in many cases you would perform a queued up attack or dodge or whatever other button you just hit. But it would almost always invariably happen at a time when you weren't planning nor wanting it to. And so it would result in you either getting hit or, in the worst case scenario, actually dying. There is an enemy in here somewhere, or at least there was. Maybe I've already triggered him. Triggered, like a snowflake. Alright, gotta finish up that matcha before it gets too lukewarm. Well, this is one of those games that has randomized drops, like most games. At least most role-playing games have randomized drops. And I'm actually somewhat concerned that Hawaii made a step because of the outcry. What was it? Gosh, I can't. The latest like Star Wars Battlefront. Is it Star Wars Battlefront 2? Something like that. Whatever the most recent Battlefront Star Wars game is. People were talking about how the loot boxes are like gambling and they should be regulated like gambling. So Hawaii's going to jump on that and start regulating it. I don't think people realized what they're asking for when they did that. Because now you're going to have government regulation over the randomization of rewards in games. And do you know, I mean, just think about how many games you can think of right now off the top of your head that have randomized drops. Think of how many of them allow you to sell them in an in-game auction house. Say, for example, World of Warcraft. Now, a lot of them don't use real currency or don't allow it, but if a game decides, well, we're going to let you buy in-game currency with real currency, and the game also has randomized drops, therefore now you can do stuff with randomized drops, even though if you don't even if you can't convert them into money, there's real money being implemented or used at some point in the process, and so that could give, you know, government agencies a basis for arguing that it should be regulated. And a lot of people welcome that. They're like, good, it should be regulated. I don't think it should be government regulated, because what you're going to have are people, developers, afraid to put stuff in their games. Broken thief sword, broken straight sword. We're going to go to the short sword. We really want a long sword. We're obviously not going to upgrade this because this isn't our ultimate end goal. Unfortunately, because of those 2 deaths and me kind of goofing around, we are not going to make it very far in this episode. We might have to stop at a kind of awkward point where we haven't really accomplished much of anything. Usually I like to stop after a boss or, you know, doing something constructive, but that may not be possible this time around. Trying to only trigger these guys one at a time. Get it? Triggered. He's triggered. Oh, yeah. Oh, 2 R2s to take him down. Broken straight sword. Certainly didn't need that. Certainly don't want it. Glad we got this short sword, but we will be getting that long sword soon. Okay, now we're down to 3. 3 I can handle. 3 is a much more doable number for me. I do want to clear this field out, though, for whatever reason. I know we don't have to, but I'd like to. Hollow infantry gloves. Oh, shoot. Yeah, see how some of these enemies just have this attack that comes out super fast, unnaturally fast, seems like way too fast. And however the game works, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but it just feels like somehow they built the game so that no matter where you are at it, you know, when you're hitting enemies, they always end up with just a little, like, sliver of health left, requiring one more hit to kill. It may not. I doubt it's intentional. It's probably just an inadvertent thing that just happened to be that way. What the heck? Oh, yeah. And the fact that you can attack something in a different direction from your lock-on, to me, is just anathema to the very point of a lock-on. The very point of a lock-on is that you're locked onto it so that you don't do exactly what this game lets you do, which is attack in a different direction. That, to me, defeats the entire purpose and nature and intent of what a lock-on is supposed to be. Lock-on means you're locked onto that target, therefore you're aimed at and operating toward that target. That target's supposed to be your base of focus, not, you know, attacking behind you or beside you or whatever. I like how this short sword has the long sword's pokey R2. I would actually prefer that the longsword operate the way it did in Dark Souls and in Demon Souls, where the one-handed R2 is a thrust attack. But they changed it so that you have to go two-handed for that, which sucks. Because that was one of the best moves that the... Oh gosh, here we go. Here we go. I hate it when you get into these modes where you just get knocked all over the place and surrounded by enemies. Oh shoot, I didn't even mean to do that. That was an inadvertent jump attack, but it worked. Looked cool too. Throwing knife, Those throwing weapons, I typically only use them to get an enemy's attention, or to finish off a tough enemy if I'm in a very difficult spot. Ah, shoot. I can't tell you how many times I misjudge the distance on weapons in this game. Also, the whole sweet spot mechanic, this should come as no surprise to you. I'm also not a fan of that. It basically makes polearms like halberds far less beneficial, and it ultimately just discourages you from using it. Like, why use a weapon that's harder to get the right amount of damage with, where you'll often get reduced damage unless you're more accurate? It basically just sort of tries to force you into being more accurate with it. Whereas you could just get... Notice that it locked onto the enemy behind me because it was the closer enemy, not the enemy I was focused on. That's one of my disappointments and disagreements with this game as well. I think it should lock onto the enemy you're facing, because rarely, if ever, will you ever intentionally lock onto something behind you. That's not really something people do very often, or want to do very often. Like, how often in a game are you not facing an enemy, click lock on, and want to lock onto the enemy you're not facing? Now, certainly if there are no other enemies around, then yes, lock onto the closest. But no, this, uh-oh. There we go. Woo! This whole, you know, I'm facing that enemy, I'm looking, I click lock on, and I spin around and lock onto the enemy behind me. No good, no good. People asked during some of my previous playthroughs, they're like, is this going to be a Dark Souls 2 playthrough, or is this going to be a complain through? And I think I did a series of live streams on Twitch called Dark Souls 2 Complain Through, where I made it my point to complain about everything I didn't like about the game. It's going to be both. It's going to be playing through it while complaining. Yeah, if you don't want to hear any complaints about Dark Souls 2, or if if it's just not your thing, then you might want to pass on this playthrough. I do offer complaints about Dark Souls as well, Demon Souls, Bloodborne. I offer complaints about nearly any and every game I would play. But certainly if you feel like I'm going overboard, then you don't have to watch. You know how it goes. I would rather you continue to watch. I'm not telling you to go, but, it is what it is, as they say. Infamous phrase. Let's see here. Don't need any of this crap. That's it right there, I think. Yes, that's it. That is it. Alright, let's go get our longsword. How about that, guys? In level up. In Magilla. Alright. I will be jotting down notes as to little topics to talk about for each episode, because what I don't want is to just to respond to the game. I want sometimes to also have a topic, and it may not even be a gaming related topic. One thing people have been asking a lot about, surprisingly, is I would mention during live streams I'm working out, and I've gained quite a lot of muscle and I'm looking better, and people have commented and I'm feeling better, and people are like, well, what are you doing? How'd you manage that? And so people were asking a lot of questions, and I'm certainly no expert. I'm not a bodybuilder. I wouldn't win any competitions, but I've made a lot of progress, and people I think are curious about that. So I might talk more about that in future episodes of this and Bloodborne. So if you want to kind of follow my train of thought, my stream of consciousness, watch these episodes and the Bloodborne episodes alternating. So if you're coming to this after the playthrough is already done, watch episode 1 of this playthrough, then episode 1 of Bloodborne, then episode 2 of Dark Souls 2, then episode 2 of Bloodborne. Alternate back and forth. It will be the chronological order on my channel. So it'll be easy just to follow the chronological order of the channel. Instead of just, necessarily following only the Dark Souls 2 playthrough all the way through. Now, I mean, you can do that. It won't be a big deal either way, but you may get more benefit out of the conversation that we have, or rather, of the dialogue I have with myself, if you're following along, alternating the two. That would be the most natural way, the way that it's coming out as I'm doing it. Alright, so here we go. The longsword. Well, guys, this is actually a reasonable point. I thought we'd have to stop in the middle of something strange, but oh, yeah, you know what? Before we do anything else, let's see if we have any way to reinforce it. No, we have no Titanite shards yet. Okay, that's fine. Alright, let's equip it so I don't forget. There have been times where I've gotten something in the game, in like a Souls game, and then I just keep rolling through the next episode, and people are like, dude, you forgot to equip it, or if you forgot to do this, you forgot to put it on. So, that's always... Oh, and I forgot to put on that ring, too. Anything else I forgot while we're at it? Alright. I'd also like to put a bow and arrow on this character, just because a bow and arrow is a useful utility weapon in these games. Well, guys, that's it for now. Make sure to follow me on all my social media sites. They are linked in the description. Twitter, Gab, Minds, Facebook, my main channel, FoxeoGames, all down there. Don't worry about VidMe anymore. If you're from the future, VidMe is already gone. VidMe will be gone in about a week from when I upload this. So the VidMe channel is shutting down. That's not just me, by the way. That's the entire VidMe website. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the first episode of the Bloodborne playthrough if you're watching this as I'm uploading episodes. And until then, later, everybody.